We're talking about the Indus Valley civilization some more, focusing in on Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro. We're going to be going through a lot of different slides here, but there's not a lot of writing on the slides. So we're going to go kind of rapidly through that. By the way, Supriya, I love the new hairdo. Looks fantastic. All right, so we are in modern-day Pakistan and near the Indus River Valley. So let's move on here. All right, so these cities are going to be super duper powerful between 2300 and 1700 BC. So these are old, like 4,000 years old. And these cities are going to be pretty incredible for the age that they are. We're going to see Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro are going to have a lot of similarities in the fact that they are both planned cities. And what that means is Ryland had a vision, and she said, I'm going to have these things there, and it's going to become a very organized city. If you go to some cities in like the northeast of America, like Boston and stuff like that, you see it wasn't planned very well. The roads are all crazy, everything like that, and they kept on just growing and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Harappa, Mohenjo-Daro both were planned out. You know, King Divine said, this is what we're doing and how it's going to be done. Both cities surrounded by walls, a fortress, so that they can have protection and defense. Both cities have their streets actually paved with bricks. So if you've ever been to Annapolis and how there's bricks on the road, anybody been there? Seen it? Yeah, Nick's been there. You seen it? Yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool. And so that's how their cities work. They're all at right angles, which makes having streets very easy. The streets were wide, and they had different carts being pulled by animals using it. Storehouses, which basically that means they knew that, like, you know, some years you're gonna have lots of extra food, some years you're not gonna have enough food, so they would store all the food so that people wouldn't starve. You know, workshops, markets, stalls, houses, all that good stuff. Public wells. I mean, we believe that Mohenjo-Daro had like 35,000 people living there. That's a humongous amount of people for way back then. Yes, Austin, sir.
Did they have slaves?
For slavery, I don't have evidence of slavery in the Indus Valley civilization. We're going to see when the Aryans came, some things in society is going to change, and they still typically aren't going to have slaves in there, thankfully. But it definitely will not be fair for everyone. So from this slide, you need to be realizing that we have these two very old cities and that they were planned out. They had brick streets and many amenities to support a large population. So you need to be knowing that Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro were planned and could support a large population. Oh, repeat what I just said. Sorry, I heard, but so Madeline K did not say what. She said, can you repeat what I just said? What I just said. Hilarious. All right, so you need to know from here that these two cities, Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, were planned and could support a large population. Oy, oy, oy. And now I would like to move on. You need to know from here that Harappa traded with places like Iran. So Harappa had long distance trade. You just say that. Harappa traded long distance. Harappa traded with Iran. Any of that kind of thing would work. I would never do that. I am my dearest scholars. Perfect thing is there's no idea how to. Why don't you trust me? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Huh? Perfect. Don't worry about it, Karachi. Don't worry. Aiden, are you okay? Then let's not. All right. What can we learn from seeing these vessels here? What can we learn about these two objects that we found at Harappa? Nick, start us.
They're good at craftsmanship.
All right, Nick says they're good at craftsmanship, which definitely they are. I mean, there's a lot of details going on with this. This is broken. This probably was like a duck or something like that. Maybe a chicken or some sort of bird. Maybe. What other things can we learn about the Harappan civilization by looking at these two artifacts? All right. Mariah just said that they like dancing. What do you say, Danielle?
I was gonna say that like they craft a lot, kind of.
Good, good. Yeah. Yeah, and so with the dancers, like we actually know that dancing is going to become very important in their culture. In fact, even a persistent, oh, gosh golly, in Indian culture today, where dancing can be important. What else can we learn from them looking at these two artifacts?
They did a lot of poses for statues and stuff.
They probably didn't have someone posing for it. Divine, what say you? Okay, maybe celebration. So let's just look at what we see with here. Aiden, you had your hand up? Oh, well, the fact that they had toys is something actually, Aiden. So don't ever doubt yourself, because like when we look at the Spartans, they didn't have toys, so we can see they probably valued their kiddos if they're going and making toys for them. When we find these, we're actually going to find more toys later on. Yes, Nicholas.
The Spartans technically did have toys.
He's talking about the spears. Look, we can learn about the jewelry that they have. We can tell that the climate was probably hot because this dancer is not wearing enough clothing. You know, here's a big thing though. What is this right here? What is this? Oh, thanks for calling out and ruining Karachi's day. She's probably going to cry for 1,000 years now. I'm sorry, Karachi. They're so mean to you. They shouted out wheel though, and now Karachi is in tears.
Wheel.
Now
There's a
Karachi has
wheel.
picked up a chair and she's hitting Mariah with it.
Oh
That's
wow! I think she should go
But,
to the corner for that.
Austin, you gotta stop calling out Brisky. You gotta. Like we're still in school. All right, you're just at home in school. But yeah, the wheel's a big deal. You know, a lot of people are like, but Mr. Kenny, everybody's got the wheel. Well, no, actually not. My sixth graders, I just finished up talking about a place that the civilization that ended in 1535 that did not have the wheel. 1535 AD. That's 500 years ago. Yes, Karachi, darling.
Because wheels, like you said, were not very popularized about.
Well, they were. It's not everybody had it, so they definitely were advanced. They figured stuff out on their own. Yeah, good. All right, here we see some of what it would have looked like. We see we've got drainage over here. We've got these courtyards. You know, it's pretty cool. This is Harappan priest king, we believe. What can we learn just by looking at this statue here? What can we learn by looking at this statue? Yes, Ryland, dear? Oh, yeah, she notices the pattern here. Very good. So if you see a fancy pattern, what can you say probably about this person, Danielle?
That they're like important, or like what made them make it like fancy because they're important.
Yeah, so there's definitely someone important. I mean, because this is very fancy. What are some other things that we notice in this statue? Karachi? Okay, so she thinks probably rich. I mean, definitely if you have these kind of things, you're rich. Aiden? Oh, yeah, the statue is broken. You're absolutely correct. Mariah, darling? Yeah, she notices the headband, and there's actually one on his arm too, right here. So he's got some fancy jewelry. Maybe it's a crown. Maybe it's just jewelry. Nicholas, sir? Yeah, it is broken a lot. I mean, it is like 4,000 years old. Well, I really need my online people. Like Austin's been throwing in and Danielle, but I really need my online people like contributing here. It's going to be, yeah, it just can't be all my people in person. I mean, I miss you guys too. I want things from all of my students because I miss you. Yeah, well, I'm going to karate chop coronavirus. All right, so, and then don't worry, I'll use hand sanitizer afterwards. All right, Mohenjo-Daro. They traded with Sumer. So Mohenjo-Daro, way over here, traded thousands of miles to Sumer. This whole big area is where they traded. So they traded going into modern day Western India. They traded all the way to Afghanistan, all these places through Iran. Yeah, they traded with Sumer. We think even somewhere on some places on the Arabian Peninsula. So it's pretty impressive that they had such a humongous range for their trade. So Mohenjo-Daro traded with Sumer. Talking about the Sumerians at the very beginning of the year. One of our first civilizations as well. So Mohenjo-Daro traded with Sumer. Check this out. This is what an artist believes their city looked like. What are some things that stand out to you in this artist rendition? What are some things that stand out to you in this artist rendition? Madeline Kate? All right. Yeah, she says they're kind of like townhouses. They're all connected there, right? That's what you were thinking with that? Perfect, sweetie. Danielle, darling.
Their clothes and like I see some buildings that have like colorful roofs.
Yeah, well, so these are going to be like tents and people on there just like here. Very cool. Yeah, and their clothing. Ryland, darling?
Oh, it's really colorful.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, colorful. We see it's the long tree, the big trees there. Aiden, sir? Yeah, lots of steps. Aiden noticed the big long staircases. All right, Divine, sir. Yeah, you got a wall in the background guarding it there. Nicholas, sir.
It looks like the houses from Aladdin.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be kind of similar to Aladdin's houses. So we're going to see similar architectural things lasting through a long time. Wonderful, sir. Karachi, darling.
All the houses are very like uniform.
Yeah, that's what Ashlyn noticed on there too, that they were uniform, very similar. Good.
Also, another thing I want to say is one of the films that when I watched the show, Shimmer and Shine,
Yeah.
and they kind of had like tents and buildings that look sort of similar to this. And I was like, those are like two paintings.
Very cool.
I just immediately just remembered this.
Yeah, we're going to see similar architectural styles throughout India, throughout the to the Middle East. Aslan also said, oops, that they look like they made out of center mud. Yeah, they're probably made of mud brick. Yes, Mariah, dear. Yeah, we see a market, and this is guys probably doing some selling right here with the scale there. All right, Nicholas, sir.
They didn't really cut down trees because if they had cut down the trees, there could have been more room to like make.
Well, they these trees are probably for decoration. Yeah, there probably were trees, and then they did cut them down, but they just have those there, just like how cities today. It's just nice to look at plants. All right, so we have a situation here where these cities are never unified. So they're not politically unified, meaning they have their own governments and leaders, but they share a language and common culture. Oh, what is that called when we have all these cities that share the same language and culture but are not politically unified? What are those things? It's like they're separate and what?
City-states.
Next time, don't call out girls, but yes, they called out city-states. I was hoping maybe Aaron would say city-states because, you know, Aaron's a smart guy and stuff. Anyways, well, you don't have to get angry and throw things, Madeline Kate. Madeline Kate just got really angry, and she turned big and green into the Incredible Hulk and then started smashing things. This really happened. You guys are missing out.
Wait, no, she became She-Hulk.
Yes, She-Hulk. That's right. Yeah, it's very scary. And now she just ate Mariah. Yes. So Mariah is no longer in the class because she is in Madeline Kate's tummy. All right. And the thing is, you guys have no idea if this is really happening because you are not here to see it.
You don't know.
All right. So what places have we studied so far that's similar to this kind of thing with these city-states? What places have we looked at that are similar with city-states? Come on, I need someone online. Come on, Aaron. Where have we studied that had city-states, broski? Come on, Brotato Chip.
The Hindu Kush Mountains. Oh wait, sorry, the Mohenjo.
So so we're talking about Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro. They're city-states. What places of the world have we studied that are arranged with city-states instead of like being one big unified country? You want to phone a friend, bro? All right, C-Bone. Oh, wait, no, Aaron, yes? What was that?
Yep.
All right, C-Bone.
In Greece, we've studied
Greece. We're city-states. There is more than just Greece that had city-states. Where else also use city-states? Carson?
Mesopotamia.
Mesopotamia and Sumer. Good. Good. Yes,
But
Austin.
Egypt?
Egypt.
Egypt at
First
one
city-states
point.
before it was unified, yeah. Sorry, what was that, Austin?
Egypt, I said I was gonna say Egypt before it was unified.
Now, we typically talk about Egypt as a kingdom where it's unified, but yes, there were times where I see basically everywhere almost started off as city-states and then developed into larger things. I'm smiling if you can't tell. All right, Mohenjo-Daro, here are the ruins. Yes, Crouchy, darling.
Just saying, you could have to tell someone's smiling. Unless why like their ass? Because like their eyes.
Really?
Guys, their eyes are like their places of their
She is describing how you can tell someone's smiling. So what am I doing now? Yeah, I was. You could do it with this one because it like cones out, like reminds me of like a plague doctor. Oh, I guess the na gave it away. All right, so this is the Great Bath of Mohenjo-Daro. We'll talk about that later. Like that. So here is an old potty. Yes. Doesn't it look so luxurious and comfortable?
That's a toilet without plumbing.
Well, except that, like, so you would sit up there, you do your business, and then it goes through the latrine. Except not ill because it goes away. In fact, some of the houses in Mohenjo-Daro even had indoor potties, which I know you're thinking, oh, Mr. Kenny, everybody's got an indoor potty. Actually, no, not everybody. Even people in the United States, not everyone has indoor potties. If you go to Appalachia, there's still people who have outhouses. There's this hilarious story that my one friend from church, they were doing some sort of like bike race through Appalachia, and they really had to go potty, so they stopped someplace, and the owners were so excited that they had just gotten a toilet, but like their house was like literally like around the size of this room, and the potty was like just in the corner. There wasn't like a wall or like a curtain or anything like that. But they really had to go, so they went for it. But so they had potties. It's a big deal. Yes, Nicholas.
The one on the right.
Uh-huh.
Where it goes to like the water.
Yeah.
It's pretty much just how sewers work.
Exactly. Nick's saying it's just like how sewers work. Here we see the Great Bath of Mohenjo-Daro, which was probably kind of similar to what we think of like a public swimming pool, and probably used for ritual bathing, not like every day, like Rylan not wanting to be stinky. It was probably just for like special occasions, like religious things, and maybe cooling off in the summer. Here are the ruins of the granary. A granary is where you would like keep your extra food so that your civilization doesn't starve, like if there's a famine or drought. This is something you have to know. You have to know that they develop a writing system. This is important because not many places develop independent writing systems, but they did in the Indus Valley. So this is a pretty huge thing right there. Pretty huge. Oh, shucks. There we go. Oh, you were going to say that, Danielle? Oh, that was from a little while ago. Sorry, sweetie. So they developed a writing system. And this is really cool. Trading seals. So what a trading seal was, they would have a cylinder seals. Something that would look kind of like this, except not be made of metal. This was the only small cylinder I had. Something that you could keep in your pocket. And you see, they developed a writing system, but the vast majority of people, like every civilization we talked about, do not know how to write. So let's see, who should I pick on? Right, how are you logged in? Why? You're here.
Oh, because when you told me to put my computer, I was on the meet looking at the word.
Oh, that's what you were doing?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought Mariah was being bad. Well, I'm kicking her. Awesome. Was that what you were doing, Karachi? Is that what you were doing?
No.
Oh, okay, good. So you were being bad. Anyways, so we would have Haley. She wants to go do a trade. She would have the symbol for Haley embossed on this, meaning it would be bumping out. And for Haley, I don't know, probably she says a fox. That wasn't nice. All right. So Nick says a fox is what we're going to use, but of course, obviously, a ferocious flying fox dragon monster, and that would be Haley's symbol. And then it would have some Sanskrit written on it, like whatever she traded, like marshmallows. So she would go and she would roll her cylinder seal onto clay, and that's why it would look like so, flattened out. And that's how they would have like the receipts for trading, because most people couldn't read or write. But they all knew that the flying fox dragon monster was Haley and that she traded marshmallows. I love marshmallows. And here's what the real ones would look like. The real cylinder seals. Mine happens to just be a guitar slide. It was the only cylinder that I had on me at the time. Oh, I mean, guitar slides are cool. You don't have to write anything here, but here we see another toy. We've got a terracotta cow. Terracotta is baked clay used for more than just the terracotta soldiers. This one's kind of cool because like it had a movable head. I mean, how fancy is that? Right there. This is the head. Madeline Kid, I bet your toy cows don't have movable heads. Yeah, Madeline Kid doesn't even have toy cows, so I don't. You don't have to write anything here, but here is some jewelry that they would make. I know, right? You do need to know that they developed the wheel, like we talked about that before. And because here's the thing, too. A lot of what we learn is actually from finding things like these toys, these models. Because, like, when archaeologist Kaylin is digging up there, like, she's not going to find, like, a wooden wheel from 4,000 years ago because the wood would have rotted by then. But she finds these clay toys that, great Carson, like, left, 4,000 years ago. Like for his Kitterinos, yeah, they are gonna go find those things that lasted, and so that's how we know they have some of these things. This is another big one that you have to write down. They had standard weights and measures. This is really important. So how many of you have ever cooked or baked something, especially baking? How many of you have ever messed up on the recipe and it didn't turn out well? Oh boy. I mean, that sounds good. Yeah. Yeah. So, for example, standard weights and measures. My friends still tease me one time. I love to cook, but one time I didn't go and read properly the standard for using the amount of salt. And I made chicken noodle soup, and they called it the Dead Sea soup because it was so salty. I mean, we saw those pictures of the Dead Sea with giant like chunks of salt just hanging out there. Yeah, that was the soup that I made. It was inedible. When you have standard weights and measures, though, you can go have things like recipes so people know they have. But also, when Aiden goes to the store, he can get the pound of flour he needs for the chocolate chip cookies he's about to bake for his favorite 5th grade history teacher. And like Mariah can go to the store and get all of the dark chocolate chips she needs, the right quantity to bake brownies for her favorite 5th grade history teacher. I hope people are getting the hint, Rylan, right? I'm just kidding, Yeah, you're probably not really supposed to. Yeah. Yeah. But standard weights and measures, big deal, because they found all these little blocks like all around the ruins. They're like, what could these mean? And then they figured it out. Yes, Karachi, darling.
When I first started baking, I would always mess up, especially for like tarts. And for like the curds, I would always mess up the amount of sugar.
Well, tarts are very specific too. Yeah, you got to be. Karachi's talking about her baking.
Sugar I would put in, and I would always mess it up.
Oh man.
Sometimes I would put like, one time I put granary sugar, instead of like powdered sugar.
Yeah.
Which completely messes.
Oh, it ruins the texture, yeah.
Because you get like a grainy, kind of a granulated.
It's gritty, yeah.
texture instead of like a smooth texture.
Exactly.
So I completely messed that.
All right, we got to keep going. First civilization used cotton. You might say, Mr. Kenny, my shirt's made of cotton right now. Who cares? Well, guess what? Everyone else was using wool back then. Wool is warm. It's itchy. Cotton, cool, refreshing, breathable. I love it. But also, the fact this makes India super duper rich because everyone's going to want to trade with them because they have cotton. And the Indus Valley started that. So first to use cotton. Cotton. First to use cotton. Yes, Carson, sir.
In English, actually, we're talking about the Civil War. So, we were talking about the North, how they blocked the trading posts for the South. And guess what they were trading?
Cotton, yes.
Yep.
Yep. So eventually America will become very popular with cotton, but that's not going to be until much later on in history, whereas since ancient times, we have cotton doing this in India. Also, ladies, congratulations. It's a matrilineal society, the Indus Valley civilization. Hey, and girls often in positions of leadership and trace descent from the girls. Unfortunately, as soon as the Aryans come, that's going to change. Oh, that's good. Can you just look that way for a minute? Why not? Hey, it's a flying moose.
Okay, here.
All right, so that is going to be our notes for the day. What we are going to be getting into now is actually first, do we have any questions or comments about anything? Any questions or comments?